This segment is sponsored by Capital Caring.
1 in 3 Americans deal with some form of heart disease, and 1 in 4 ultimately die as a result. But what should you do if you or a family member is dealing with heart disease?
That's where our next guest comes in. Steve Cohn, Chief of Communications and Philanthropy at Capital Caring, shares how they can help. Good to see you.
Great to be with you both today.
Great
All right,
to
we
have
hear
you.
the term heart failure. What is that exactly, and how can families
And
cope?
you know, this is considered Heart Month, but at Capital Caring, we want people to know we can care for their loved ones with advanced heart disease every month, all year long.
Okay.
Heart failure is defined as when the heart is pumping at 20% or less of capacity.
Wow.
And you have 2 options: repeated hospitalizations, or we can care for you in your home or wherever you reside. And it's a much better experience for not only the patient but the family, because we provide not only medical assistance but mental health assistance as well for the patient and the family.
And the family as well.
Yeah.
You kind of have 2 options for what you provide, right?
Yes, if a person has heart failure, typically they can live for 3 to 5 more years. And especially if we're caring for them in their home and they don't have to be hospitalized all the time. Everyone feels better about that. Eventually, their disease becomes terminal, and then we put them in the hospice care. The difference is that when they have chronic heart disease, they don't, they don't have to. We're trying to cure them and trying to make them as comfortable as possible in the process. When it's deemed that they only have 6 months or less to live, we're no longer working on the cure aspect, just to make them comfortable and pain-free.
Right. Enjoy the last
Enjoy
months
the
of their
last
life.
weeks and months.
And weeks, months.
Yeah.
I do love how you help out the family as well, because it's obviously not just the patient.
Well, the family is usually under more stress than the patient.
Exactly, exactly. They
And
take
why
it
go
all
it
on.
alone when you don't have to?
Yeah.
They take it all
And
on.
it's basically free, because everything we do is either covered by Medicare or other insurance, or for those that have no insurance or are underinsured, thanks to donations, especially from one major foundation, the Neil Nichols Family Foundation, we are able to not charge anybody.
That's
So-
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
because I think if people hear the term hospice or in-home care, they're thinking very expensive.
Right, and
But
it's
you're
not.
providing
Not
this.
when
Yeah.
you're working with a group, a not-for-profit like Capital Caring Health.
That's amazing.
So everyone can learn more by going to capitalcaring.org/cardiac, and they can also download our free comprehensive guide to how you should care for a loved one with advanced heart disease.
Is this like one of your top things that you are treating? When we were reading 1 in 3 Americans, 1 in 4.
Well, you know, forever, heart disease has been the #1 affliction of people living in the United States. And so it's really the vast majority of our patients, whether they're in our primary care at home, chronic illness, or when they're now terminal, it's really the #1 thing that we see among patients we care for.
Yeah.
What do you see from your patients that, especially when they are getting cared for in their home, how that helps them and helps their family?
Well, when you think about the alternative, which is a sterile hospital room,
Yeah.
it's not the hospital's fault.
Yeah.
They're not providing a family
But
setting.
it's not your home.
But if you're in your home with your surroundings and you know, whether it's your pets, your family, your friends, anyone who can come and go, people think that hospice care means other people can't come and see you. That's totally incorrect. I mean, especially in your home. There are
Right.
no visiting hours.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
there's a
so
lot
it's
people
just,
have to learn.
on average, people live longer, whether they have heart disease or any other affliction, when they're in hospice care, because they just feel better
Yeah.
about being in a familiar place, their home, or wherever they reside.
Right. You feel
incredible.
And so
totally
it's
different. Yeah.
such a better environment for care than in your last weeks and months to be
Right.
repeated hospitalizations.
Yes.
Back and forth,
Steve,
back and
great
forth.
work
the
you guys
stress
do.
Thank
is-
you
Steve.
for always telling us and educating us
Yes.
about this.
Absolutely.
You can learn more. We were talking about that by downloading a copy of Capital Caring's free comprehensive guide on advanced cardiac care by going to capitalcaring.org/cardiac. Thank you. We'll be right back.